It's been gathered from very intelligent source that the Yorubas are making up, of course, preparations to exit Nigeria. It is no longer a joke, but some are hiding under pretense that the Tinubu administration might possibly elapse. But there have been a strong underground moves by the Yorubas because they are fed up with the Nigerian system and have found no future in the Nigerian project. Your take on this?
All right, good morning, Mr. Chigoze. So today we have decided to talk about my people and my ethnic affinity. Yes, the Yorubas are one of the major tribes, and I must tell you that the antecedents of the Yorubas in Nigeria has always been, you know, tribal. I must tell you, an average Yoruba man is tribalistic. And why is that? Let me tell you the genesis of that. Every Yoruba man has what we call eulogy, okay? Pregranatory. So there's a word they use. I think eulogy is this is what emphasizes the basis of your existence, which strays back to the Yoruba divination, which is the Oduduwa, the Orumilas, and the Ilefe, right? So every Yoruba man has that eulogy. If you are from Oyo State, you have that eulogy. If you are from Ekiti State, you have that eulogy. So Nigerians are naturally tribalistic, right? So a Yoruba man will always want to have what governs him being done by his own kinsman. I don't know if you understand what I just said. What that means is that at every point in time, a Yoruba man will always take orders from his kinsman. Okay? They are communal. Yorubas have always, we had an empire and we had kings that had land spread, and that is how Yorubas, system was built. And this was the reason why Awolowo was called a bigot. Awolowo was not a bigot; he was just a conservative. He was conserving the very ethics of a Yoruba man. A Yoruba man will guide his culture jealously. And this is why you say Yoruba man will tell you that when you want to greet me, bow down. When you want to greet me, you don't give me your handshake, you bow down. This is why you say Yoruba man will tell you that there is a word, a tonation to how you say please. Are you with me? So the Yoruba culture system, if their very essence is to remain in Nigeria, they would like to have their own premier. And that was what Awolowo was saying. That was what Awolowo was preaching, that we might not necessarily divide Nigeria, but let us have our own region whereby we will have our own regional government that directly engages the people. He understands the people. All right? And this was why everybody see Awolowo today as a bigot. But where are we today? We are back to what Awolowo said. I told you that maybe Zik was more of a nationalist. But of course, we all know it was because of his selfish interest. Because we knew Nnamdi Azikiwe wasn't pushing for regionalization. It was more of centralization and unitary system, right? But you cannot take away the fact from the people. The people are who they are. They are who they are because it is inherent. They are who they are because culture will always beat strategy for breakfast. The culture of an average man is see your elder, whether you know him or not, bow down and greet him. A Yoruba lady must kneel down with her two knees. Right? So that clash of interest, that culture shock that has been sustained over the years. If Nigeria was in regional government, that wouldn't be the case because we will have our cultural norms in the Western region. Back then, we have a national anthem in the Yoruba region. It was called Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ níṣẹ́ ilẹ̀ wa, ẹni kò ṣiṣẹ́ á máa jalè. That was a word, that was an anthem that was sung every day. Then another one that came. Bàtàrẹ́ àdúkò kó ká tó bá kàwé rẹ̀. What does that mean? It means your shoe heel will sound ko in an office because it was deemed fit that only those who are educated tends to wear heels, shoes. And that was the culture that was making the Western region grow because everybody didn't want to get disgraced. Because everybody knew if you didn't have your shoe, your heels on, that means you are probably not educated. And that's the power of mind control. Your culture controls your mind. You know, culture is a tool that is used to frame your mind. That is the very bedrock of any mind in an economy is a culture because the culture is the bedrock of your mindset and your framework of how you do your things. So the first song I sang that I said, "Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀," well, you do know what that means? A farmer is the most important in our land because we are born into a farming generation, and that is what we pride ourselves for. And that is why during those days under Awolowo, everybody had a farm. Some people even went to commercial farming, and that was why we had that consistency in development and growth. Because you would discover that if you're not farming, you were seen like the odd one out. Because if I had invited you into my home then, and let us go and discuss, let us go to your garden. I might say, what? Chico say, let me go. I want chop. Because we all knew we had something edible in our garden. So I just say, Chico say, my enter your garden, where I go send it to you. And then I got there, I don't find a garden. And then I look at, you're a lazy man. Why would you not farm? Every time you come to my house, you see mango, you drink. You see orange, you drink. So I come, why can't you farm? So from that word alone, you are pushed to go and farm. Right? So Awolowo was, seen as that. An average Yoruba man is an Awoist. Because you have been indoctrinated right from your birth. They will always say to you that you are a son of this from this in the Yoruba land, which has connectivity to Ilefe. So, that tribalistic tendencies are there. So, this issue of saying that you are tribalized, they are this, Nigeria can be a confederation, whereby every region will have its culture. So, and where, when a region has its culture, when you an outsider comes, it is clearly stated. So you know how you conduct yourself. And there will be harmony. If you know you are going to Saudi today, you know that in Saudi, you cannot go out there and be drinking alcohol. Because they have made it known that in our culture here, if you want to take alcohol, take it in your room. Don't bring it outside. If I want to go to the east, maybe one of the culture is in this land, right? We don't do masquerading openly. I'm only saying, right? I cannot go there and say because I have assimilated, I have stayed there for a long period of time. We now form a group of Yorubas and then we now start open trading, open masquerading. No, everybody has everybody. You see, Nigeria would only work in that instance. If we don't have complete dissolution, we can have confederation, and that's why you say an average Yoruba man, if you call him, you ask him, what was your best moment in Nigeria? He will tell you it was during Awolowo time. Even you yourself, you say that it was during regionalism. And that was the agenda Ojukwu was pushing for when they went for that meeting in Ghana, Aburi Accord. Let every region control himself. Yes, we'll still come to Abuja, maybe on a monthly basis, we'll remit things to you. Right? We might have United Nations or we have Confederation of Nigeria Republic or whatever. But I want to sustain my culture. You see everybody shouting in Lagos. You think if we're in regional government, Igbos will be shouting like we took up your land in Lagos? They won't, because the culture would be out there. Everybody will see it. Everybody will see it clearly. A Yoruba will not come to anybody and start saying, after all, now we give an education. It won't. That respect will be there naturally. And who says we cannot live under that? Everybody's tongue will be what? Will be curtailed. There won't be unnecessary wagging of tongues, unbridled, tongue, whereby you just speak things against everybody's culture. Everybody's culture deserves to be respected.
Yes, you said that is Yorubas as culture inclined,
I
and some have accused Yorubas that there are reasons why Nigerians are not moving forward because of their tribalistic tendencies, even to support a government or a person who they know cannot move the country forward only on the basis that he comes from the Yoruba land.
Okay, you see, Yorubas are, are tribalistic. I want to repeat it. And how Yoruba has always been the problem, as opine in Nigeria ecosystem, is what baffles me. A Yoruba man always fights for his own interests. And this is why you saw that when in
Always fight is for his own interests.
that means his communal interest, the interest of his people, he wouldn't for any by any means not necessarily sell his people out. No, he won't do that. Now that was why you saw that some people supported Buhari because they knew Buhari was going to give them a chance as a second man, and after him, the Yoruba was going to come in. That was a clear roadmap. That was a clear path. And they played that and they won. In the other instance, anybody who is saying Yoruba has always betrayed the other ethnic group and all that, I beg to differ. Because when we look at it in contractual terms, maybe in terms of business, you hardly see a Yoruba man and an Igbo man have issues. You will hardly see a Yoruba man and a Hausa man have issues. But in terms of politics, the Yorubas and the Igbos have not, in recent times, always aligned. And that's where the disparity comes in. The Igbos were not decisive while they were in PDP. What do I mean? PDP was the greatest betrayer for Igbo presidency in 2023 because no ethnic group has served the PDP more than the Igbos. They have invested their sweat, their money, their time, and even their intellectualism. But they were betrayed by that very same party. However, today we are seeing more of, investment in APC and in Labour Party and all that. You see what the Yoruba man will play. The Yoruba man will be like, okay, if I'm going to be Labour Party, no problem. He will say that he will look for what aligns with his interest. Okay, Peter Obi is okay. I'll go with it. Okay, this is where I'll stand. Do you get my point? So when the Yoruba man interest is threatened, that he will be a part of the table where the cake is shared. And you see them, they will align with those persons that can guarantee them that, okay, don't worry, let's share it together. Okay? And they are not perfect. But the best solution is, everybody needs to maintain and sustain his culture. Because Nigerians are cultural. Nigerians are tribalistic. You are an Igbo man. Today, if I tell you to say this word, that Nigerian will fail, you will say it. But if I tell you that, say that Anambra will fail, you cannot say it because you will call it Alaibo. That is my motherland or my fatherland. No, 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 no. God forbid. You get my point. So, but when we have that sense of belonging that this land, I have direct impact on it. Then what I now do, I give it back to the Nigeria. Not that Nigeria will give me some. No, this land, let me build it. Then from what I build with my hands, I give a share back to the federal government. But the federal government cannot come today and tell me that if tomorrow I find diamond in my land, it belongs to them. At least it belongs to me, and then I give them a share of it. I mean, that is what they call conservation. Everybody is conservative. Everybody, now, see, Igbos are not republic. Don't let me lie to you. Everybody is tribalistic. Everybody is conservative in nature. Because you will not tell me that Nigeria will fail, Nigeria will fall, Nigeria will crumble. But if I not say that, okay, Enugu will fail, you know, say, why will you say that? No, you are not. Is Enugu not in Nigeria? If I tell you Nigeria will fail, and then I say that Oyo will crumble, I'll fight you to the last. Like Oyo cannot crumble. Yeah. Is Oyo not in Nigeria? What
Of
does
course,
that? What does that signal to you? It shows you that Nigerians are cultural.
yes.
We are
But that
tribalistic.
notwithstanding, an Igbo man is a Republican in nature. An Igbo man can look to his father to the eyes and tell him that what you did was wrong in a more polite way. But a Yoruba man can't do that.
If that was mean by Republican,
It's liberal and everybody' opinion counts, not
how would that?
someone
How would,
lording it over to other people.
well,
Baba Sope syndrome is not acceptable in Igbo land.
to an extent, you're right. To an extent, you're right. Right? But that doesn't happen by fiat. It only happens. It
By
only
free will,
no. It only
by
happens.
expression of free
It
will.
only happens. No, what I mean by fiat, it only happens when you are financially buoyant.
An Igbo man does not
No,
respect your money.
no, 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 no.
Even though you have money, they say,
But I'm
who
not. Let me.
is in your own
I
house,
am.
your own
I don't
family.
want. I don't want to discuss about money. I don't want to discuss about Igbos. The question here is because I am not from Igbo, right? So I'm not in best position to speak about them. I respect their culture. So I'm not here to insult their culture, and that's what we are talking about. Listen, we are supposed to cohabit. Integration is impossible. If I come to marry your daughter in Imo State, by the way, Imo State girls are very beautiful. I come there and I take one of your girls. I know I have to do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, that. Right? You call it traditional wedding. If I don't do it, you not give me that girl. After I do it, you let her go. Right? For what Nigeria is telling us is anytime I want to come to Imo, I shouldn't do any traditional rites. I should just take her, go to court, and leave. Has that been the case? Has there ever been an Igbo man and a Yoruba guy, or an Igbo girl and a Yoruba man that get married without them going through the traditional wedding?
We never can tell. I think that we have seen,
How many have you seen?
even in this
They
Lagos,
will later do it.
they will later do it.
Ah,
It means a probability.
they do it. That's the point. If they tell you they will do court, blah, blah, blah. People, the parents will tell them now, guy, you never do anything. Now they will tell them, you have not what married my daughter. The elders in the village will tell them that, okay, we have not collected our own yam. Maybe you collect from our own child. Is that not the case? If your child wants to get married tomorrow, we will be your friend, and then we'll come. I'll get you that 40 yam. Now two I go collect. I go come for my. So when my own child wants to get married, you demand for your own rights. And this is not a joking matter. This is a serious issue. Go to to the cultural land. You see it there. If you don't do it, you pay fine. So I mean, see, that is something that we must understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again, Mr.